What's going on, YouTubers? It is your boy, Alyx, man. I am giving you my Raw review for April 6th of 2015 and my thoughts and, I guess, review on the podcast involving John Cena and Chris Jericho. The Chris Jericho Podcast on the network. I know a lot of you aren't happy with the fact that Chris Jericho replaced Stone Cold Steve Austin, but let me put you at ease. I felt it was a good podcast. Was it as good as Austin and McMahon? No. But I do feel it was at least better than Austin and Triple H. You know, it's like McMahon, Austin, Jericho, Cena, and then Austin and Triple H. And I will be grading both of them with my new rating system. Those of you who don't know, I am completely doing away with the Dave Meltzer star rating system. It's not me. I feel like I don't do a very good job expressing how I felt about the show through that rating system. I know it's standard. I apologize if you don't like that, but Alyx, man, it's just going in a different direction. Personally, it makes no sense for anybody to have a 10 out of 10 show without every single match being 5 stars. And I've seen people do 3.5 stars, cheating by the way, 3 and 1/6, 4 stars, 4 and 5/6, or 7/8, and then not one 5-star match on the show, 9.5 out of 10. And I'm thinking, that makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. So, for the beneficial of me, my channel, and you, to get across the point of how I feel about shows, I'm just changing my system. The last one, the whole wrestling societal system, was bad. It was a flop. This one I think is more effective. So let's talk about Raw. And I guess to show you how it works, let me grade last week's Raw. Last week's Raw was an A. Absolute A. Fantastic show. From the Brock Lesnar beatdown, from everything being advanced. You had Seth Rollins as that corporate champion, Brock Lesnar being fired to set up a future match with him and Seth Rollins, putting him over hopefully as a baby face, so we established that. And then the debut of the Lucha Dragons, Neville, new talents all around. The crowd was awesome. Main event sucked. That was the low point of the show. Good to great matches. I mean, the John Cena Open Challenge was great with Dean Ambrose. It's just a show that was just phenomenal, and I could watch it over and over and over again and never be bored with it. So definitely worth an A. So, see how that works? Every single show, starting from this review, will be graded like that. So, with that said, let's talk about this week's Raw. I'm not gonna lie, this week's show was kind of meh. It was average. There was enough good stuff to keep me watching. Well, somewhat. I did tune out here and there, but I'm not gonna say it was all bad. Byron Saxton on commentary. I'm happy we have a different commentator other than Michael Cole. Byron, I think, is getting used to, first off, being the head commentator of Raw and listening to all these people talking in his head. This is the second week where I felt he was uncomfortable. You can tell he's not stepping out. He's not trying to, take any chances. He's like, okay, I'm going to do whatever they tell me to do because I don't want to be fired. Which hurts him, honestly. I feel like Byron should be himself a little bit. Say what you want to say. Say some stuff. Challenge JBL. Be that babyface commentator I know you can be. Or be you. Be whoever you are. Don't feel so trapped by your bosses. John Cena talked about that in the podcast, and I will get to that in a second. Take some chances, man. And I think because he's so scared, that's what he is. He's scared. Being the head commentator, I can't step outside the box or they might fire me. If you're going to get fired, Get fired by doing you. Everyone has their own flavor in whatever craft you do. And Byron is different from Cole, JBL, and Lawler. Now, I also get that he's not necessarily a play-by-play guy either. He is more color. I think Renee Young is more the play-by-play person, or even Tom Phillips, which is why I don't get he didn't send Tom Phillips up there with Byron and Renee Young. You know, maybe it's because, again, they're looking for someone who isn't necessarily a good personality, but more of someone who does what they're told. And maybe that's why he doesn't step outside the box a lot, because he just does what he's told. Regardless, I feel like his commentary suffered because of that. And I think I want to see him branch out more and become him. It will help the show. That's just my opinion. But, you know, it was a nice change somewhat. I think Booker T is falling back into that rut when he was with Cole and Lawler. It just doesn't work. These guys are just bad. They're bad. Commentary is bad as long as we have JBL, Cole, and Lawler. And I think it won't get better, in my personal opinion, until we change it all together. But moving on with the rest of the show. Seth Rollins comes out. We have an authority promo. It's getting to the point now where I'm just like, enough. Please just open up the show with something different. A match. A Diva promo, a tag team promo, something else than, well, a Cena and an Authority promo. Please, just be done with it. I am sick of these Authority promos. No, there was no Triple H. No, there was no Stephanie McMahon. It was still a very long, repetitive Authority promo. If you've seen one Authority promo, you've seen them all. Orton comes out because they were gloating, and we have a number one contendership triple threat match in the main event to decide who fights Seth Rollins. Randy Orton, Ryback, Roman Reigns. That's it. And they all have their own one-on-one matches. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a fan of any of them. I did not care about Kane versus Randy Orton. I did not care about Ryback versus Luke Harper. And I sure as hell don't care about Big Show versus Mr. Roman Reigns. This guy sucks. His character is boring. Yes, I am not talking about Big Show. I'm talking about Roman Reigns and Big Show, by the way. They're both just meh. And their matches have not been good at all. So I don't understand why you would do this again. And seriously, anyone that says this was a good match, I want to see you explain it. Then we are going to talk months later, and I would like for you to look back on this match again and see if you say the exact same thing. You won't. I don't see how anybody can like these matches. They're all bad. This was a bad match, and I don't get the purpose of these matches. To make it harder for the guys to win? I get the story of, okay, they go into the match weakened, making it harder for them to win the match. I got that, but that wasn't illustrated at all because they just went into the match like nothing happened. You might as well have had them confront each other backstage throughout the night and create tension. I don't care about Kane versus Randy Orton or Luke Harper versus Ryback. Definitely not Big Show versus Roman Reigns. Why is Kane and Big Show still a prominent fixture on this show? Why? Get rid of them, please. They suck. They're worthless. They are. But it did do a very good job of setting up the main event. Randy Orton is fighting Seth Rollins at Extreme Rules. There you go. And based off of the Bray Wyatt promo, I am almost certain he will fight Roman Reigns. Now, I did read a report that he's going to fight Ryback. Why? Ew. No, just have him fight Roman Reigns. I would prefer that. He would lose. Honestly, I wish he would win because Roman Reigns needs to hit rock bottom and come back up. They need to revamp him badly. Which is why I want him to fight Bray Wyatt so Bray Wyatt can get some momentum off of Roman Reigns. But I can almost guarantee you if that feud happened, Reigns would come out on top and Bray Wyatt would once again continue his streak as the biggest enhancement talent in the company. It sucks. It really does. But I guess if that was made to set up that match, because otherwise we're stuck with Big Show and Roman Reigns again. Do you want to see that? Do you? No, you don't. So let's not do that. But other stuff on the show, AJ Lee got an acknowledgement. Brad Maddox made some random ass appearance. Don't know why. The network is free. Let me just bear with me, guys. I am trying to get this out the way. I really am. This network being free really gets on my nerves as a subscriber. So you're telling me these new people can get it free the entire month, and you're doing this for numbers. I know you are. You're doing this to make more subs. But all you're going to do really is make the people who are your sub unsubscribe and then re-subscribe. You know, it's like, why pay $10 when I can just, you know what, unsubscribe and resubscribe with a new trial and pay it for free? That really pisses me off, because it's like, okay, what benefit does your subscribers get? They still have to pay, but they get no benefit out of this. Why not benefit them? If you stay subscribed for a certain amount of time, you get free merchandise or a discount on merchandise. I don't know. Give us a benefit, all right? Don't just have us be subscribed and that's it. We get your money. And it's not because they're doing it that pisses me off. It's the fact that they're doing it constantly. We just did this in February. Now we're doing it in April? Come on now. That's too much. November, February, April. You have to benefit us somehow. It's very annoying for me as a customer. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Neville debuted against Seth Rollins. That was cool. He lost to Seth Rollins, but they established him very well as a legit competitor. The match between John Cena and freaking Stardust was meh. I mean, when he announced that he was fighting Rusev at the pay-per-view, you kind of spoiled the end result. I personally would have waited until after the match and then talked about it. Divas match was nothing. It was practically the same match from last week. Just take out AJ. Just a regular Divas match. Naomi won with that finisher, and Nikki Bella botched a Hurricane Rana. How do you botch a Hurricane Rana? I will say this. I really enjoyed the Primetime Players promo when they ripped apart the New Day and the Ascension. That was awesome. I love them. I really enjoyed the New Day heel turn. Well, they're teasing it. They haven't turned heel yet, but the whole we have to clap or we'll snap. In other words, they'll go crazy. I like that. And their match against the Lucha Dragons, putting them over and facilitating their heel turn more, was really awesome. It's making that tag team division feel fresh. We established a face tag team while, you know, establishing a new tag team and Lucha Dragons, and then building a heel tag team in the New Day. Really good stuff. So, and of course, Sheamus' promo and his match against Mark Henry, that was good as well. I'm really digging Sheamus as this heel character. I love seeing him get beat up. I want to see him get beat up. It's this guy that likes to pick on people smaller than him and then gets intimidated by people bigger than him. It makes it really fun and easy to see him want to get beat up. So, you know, it's really cool stuff. And then, of course, the Miz versus Mizdow segment. Let me just say this. At least with that finish, we know we are getting a rematch. I just personally have a big issue with giving away pay-per-view quality matches free on Raw, and then you put them in the death slot right before the main event. I don't like that. That was very questionable to me. I mean, it was meant to set up a rematch. I got that. But here's my thing. In the rematch, can Mizdow go back to Sandow? Let's just have Damien Sandow versus The Miz. It makes no sense for him to be Mizdow because he is no longer with The Miz. Why is he still coming out to his music, fighting like The Miz? Stop that. You got fired. Go back to Damien Sandow. I want the intellectual savior back. He was great as the intellectual savior. Or be something else. Be Damien Sandow. Be someone awesome. Okay? Don't copy The Miz. It's done. Alright? The stunt double is over. He needs to start building his own identity now. Got me? Thank you. So the rematch needs to be Damien Sandow versus The Miz. But in terms of Extreme Rules, it's shaping up to be a decent pay-per-view. I hear that Daniel Bryan's going to fight Bad News Barrett. That might turn into a fatal four-way. We shall see. I guarantee you Ziggler and Sheamus will be involved somehow if they don't have their own match. We got Miz and Sandow. We have a tag team championship match. Most likely the Lucha Dragons or somebody might fight Cesaro and Tyson Kidd because the Usos are out. Naomi will most likely fight Nikki Bella. The main event will be Orton versus Rollins. That should be good. And Reigns versus Bray Wyatt might be the match. I don't know why we would do Bray Wyatt versus Ryback because that means we'll be doing Big Show versus Roman Reigns. So you better pray hard that they do Reigns versus Wyatt. So for me, the show is a C. I feel like it did a very good job of setting up Extreme Rules. And it was, it was a blueprint show. It had a purpose and it accomplished it. But I feel like the execution of it and the crowd made it feel very average and very lackluster. It's nowhere close to the San Jose Raw after WrestleMania. It's just a far cry from that and a show I wouldn't watch more than once. It did its job. I sat through it. I was entertained for the most part. But it's just an average show. So that was Raw. I might put a timestamp right here, and you've already seen it, to let people know to come to this portion of the video if you want to hear my thoughts on the Chris Jericho and John Cena podcast. And I thought it was good. Listen, I don't like the John Cena character as much as the next guy who is not a John Cena fan. I'm not a John Cena hater. I'll acknowledge when he has good matches, but I can't say I'm a fan of his character. Here's my thing. This wasn't the guy we got. We got the real John Cena. We got Cena as himself. And Cena as himself is a really cool guy. He is very understandable. He gets it. I think Cena as a person, as a worker, as someone who loves the business and understands the business, he understands the fans, he understands how things work, and for the most part, I was nodding my head at everything he said. Every point he made, I was like, yep. There wasn't a single point he made that made me go, BS. No, a lot of the stuff he said, I agreed with. Now, I'll admit, he does have pull, and he does have leverage, because it is John Cena, and they love him and need him, so they will allow him to get away with more of the stuff he says the other superstars should say. But the key thing I think he said that was prominent, and the reason why I am going to give this a higher grade than Raw, was the whole deal that people should take chances. Push the envelope a little bit. Know the rules. Dance around them. Bend them a little bit. Do what you have to do to create good TV and get that crowd engaged. Yes, you will piss off your bosses. Yes, they won't like it. But if you do create good TV and you do spark controversy, they can't fire you. They won't fire you because they know better. Ultimately, that's why they're there. To put on a product that gives the fans their money's worth. And if the superstars aren't creating that because they feel confined, break out of that like Byron Saxton. Break out of that and just take hold of what you're given. Make the most out of it. What's the worst they can do? Fire you for doing a good job? Okay, I would rather be fired for doing a good job than be miserable working there. And I get that some of them have families. Some of them don't, though, which is another reason why I question why they don't step out. But the ones who do have families, I get that. Still, if you have a passion for your craft, don't you want to do things your way? Have a say in what you do? You know what I'm saying? And John Cena did talk about that. He talked about how he tried to communicate that to a lot of the wrestlers, but they say what I said. You're John Cena. You have pull. Why should we listen to you? It's easy for you to say, Mr. Millionaire, you know? But at the same time, he's right, you know? And for John Cena to say that, it just echoes everything we, as a fan base, have been saying. But looking at the list here, they talked about the brass ring comment that Vince McMahon made. He loved it. He felt like this is something they need to hear. Like he said, you will get criticized, but take chances and just own it. You don't get second chances a lot, so take that first chance you get and make the most out of it. Again, it's easy for him to say this because it's John Cena, but he does have a point. Might as well have fun with what you're given and make the most out of it instead of just doing what you're told to do. You know, if Roman Reigns did more of that, I might like him more. They talked about the class of 2002 coming up from OVW with Brock Lesnar, Orton, Batista, and Shelton Benjamin. He mentioned him. That was cool. He talked about how the Thugonomics gimmick came about from a random rap battle on a bus tour. He rapped with Rikishi, Mysterio, Palumbo, and Eddie Guerrero. What? There were some members on Creative who were on the bus. They heard him and they said, hey, you want to do a rapper gimmick? He said, sure. Seized it. And the rest is history. He became awesome. Never took drugs. Never took any steroids. I guess I had to trust him on that one. I think John Cena's telling the truth. I don't think he ever did. Does being the face of the company matter anymore? I like what he said about this because he acknowledged that it's really hard to please the audience nowadays. Especially when you give them someone new, but he's covered in the corporate makeover. And he feels like that corporate makeover just completely kills it. He might be new, but then he's not new. You know what I'm saying? But every band needs a front man. The next front man will be the guy to take chances. That's what he says. He doesn't know who will be the next face of the company. Whoever takes the most chances, that's who it will be. NXT, he says he loves the crowd on NXT because it forces the wrestlers to sink or swim. If you suck, they will tear you to shreds. That ECW mentality. If you suck, they will let you know that you suck. If you're awesome, they will let you know that you're awesome. He had some legit heat with The Rock, actually. And the issue draws from The Rock on the very first night coming out and just destroying him. You know, we go from Austin 316 to the dominant and iconic, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? All the way to, you can't see me. That was gorgeous. That was awesome. And Cena was very pissed off that he never got a chance to retaliate. So that frustration came from that, and of course The Rock saying he doesn't love the wrestling business anymore. I'm a Hollywood guy now. But he talked about the night where he exposed The Rock having, you know, his stuff written on his forearm because he wasn't used to doing the whole improv wrestling promo because he's been out for so long. So when Cena called him out on that, he got pissed off and they actually had legit heat for a while. I would be pissed off too. You son of a bitch. Why would you do that to me? But apparently they got past it and eventually Cena saw what The Rock was doing from his eyes. Because to see a wrestler like The Rock, who is a legit inbred wrestler become someone much bigger. The Rock is one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood right now. Furious 7, #1 in box office. He's doing awesome. So it took Cena a while to understand that, but he finally did. And from this feud, he took a stand to encourage his opponents, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and others, to take shots at him. Make it real. I like that. He talked about the split reaction. I love this stuff. He said when they turned him into what he is, he admits that he is a bit of a corporate company guy. And when they took away his character, all he can do really was be him. And, when you're being yourself, you have legit strong ideals. And they will rub you the wrong way or you'll sympathize with them. It never bothered him. Apparently, he says the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chant never bothered him because his thing is, okay, you want to turn me heel? I'll be a great heel. He was always open. I love this. He was always open to doing a heel turn. Always. There was never a point where he would say, no, we can't do it. His whole idea is, if there was only someone to replace me in terms of inspiring kids. He is big on the kids. He loves making that one child smile. Like, the entire crowd can boo him. Out of 14,000 fans, if that one child in the front row is, smiling, has a tear in his eye, oh my God, you're my hero, he says, that's all I need. That is the main reason why he's kind of against turning heel, because he's afraid he can't do that. Or there won't be anyone to do that. Now, if there is someone who's alive right now, Daniel Bryan, who can do that, he would be open to turning heel, no issues. And he said he wants to. In 2012, he confirmed that they were going to turn him heel. He actually got the theme song. He got a new gear. They were ready to do it. And then they just pulled back because of the children and his influence. He talked about how, serious Cena and poopy John Cena, that's just him taking chances. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. He just says, at least I'm going out me. That's just him. And again, you gotta respect that. He is such a cool guy that he is willing to work with a heel turn. He wants to do it. He's open to doing it. So before anybody jumps down his throat, he's just like us. I think he himself is kind of getting bored of Cena. He talked about how he got into fights over some creative stuff that Vince made him do that he didn't like, but he did it anyways. So, at the end of the day, Cena is just a worker. I can't hate the guy. I can hate the character. Okay, hating on the John Cena character is like hating on Tommy from Rugrats or some guy from that Walking Dead show. He's a character. Who cares? It's a character. It's like not liking a character in the book. It's just a TV character. I don't think anybody can really hate the guy Cena. I think he has a good mind for the business, and I hope one day when he does retire, he goes into the creative department or talent relations and really helps out with the business, because he understands it. He really does. And of course, his favorite match is against The Rock, and that's where it ended. Really good interview. There are other stuff they talked about, but I hit on the big notes. I gotta give it a B. I feel like it's an interview that if you watch it, you'll like it. It was very substantial. There is some influential stuff for wrestlers. To hear John Cena say, guys, take a chance, I just think that's really cool. I don't care if it is a publicity stunt. Whatever. It's still cool to see John Cena be himself, to acknowledge that, you know what, some stuff I do is crap, but I'm being myself. So anybody saying that a heel turn is stupid, stop saying that, okay? Because it's not stupid. Cena himself is open to it. I'm happy he said that. And it made me respect him as a person a lot more. I still don't like his character. I don't. But, you know what? It was a good interview. It was a good podcast. It's not the best. Austin and McMahon, the Punk and Colt Cabana podcast is better. It was still good for me. But give me your thoughts on the podcast. And hey, if you sat through this video, hashtag I watched it all. Thank you guys for watching. Your boy, Alyx, man, signing off. Peace.